it's not about forgiving them. It's about learning that there's nothing to forgive. And so forgiveness is a big topic, right? A lot of us are starting to wake up to the idea and concept that when we forgive, we set ourselves free. There's plenty of studies that have linked many cancers to resentment, and by letting go of resentment through the process of forgiveness, and I'll go further into how it's not just forgiveness, but through the process of forgiveness and moving through the condition, I guess, of resentment, we're able to set our body free from these physical manifestations of whether it's an illness or whether it's other things like lack and scarcity, or continuing to manifest a situation. Say you have a parent that is extremely, this is Arlo in the back. We are here in Barcelona, Spain, staying at my uncle. It's like my mom's cousin, so in a way he's like my uncle, a second uncle or something. But anyway, a little side rant. But having this resentment within our body can cause us, so say we have a parent, right, that was neglectful and manipulative and always just like was looking for the problem within us. And then we're manifesting partners, romantic partners like that, where it's like we can never do anything right, or they're always manipulating us in ways, or we're having like a really toxic boss in our life, or somebody that we work with, or a friendship, or these different kind of situations will continue to manifest because we are holding on to resentment and it's not resolved. And so we have to find a way to work through it. And what I found in my years and years and years of trying to figure this out, because I understood that idea for a very long time, like, okay, I get it. Resentment causes all this to be happening. The physical illness that I was having these like unexplained symptoms that I was having, like the manifestation of continuous like repetitive patterns. I was like, I get it. Why do I have to keep learning this lesson? Like, how do we forgive? Because I would just sit there and I'd be like, I forgive you. I'm grateful for you. Thank you. I'm grateful for the lessons you taught me, all of that. But what I've found to be the most powerful way to actually move through resentment and onto the other end of it, so that we can be free from these things that are continuing to linger within our life, is this concept right here. It is understanding that there's nothing to forgive, because we are all from the same one consciousness, right? So we're all from one consciousness, whatever you want to call it, source energy, God, spirit, unconditional love, infinite abundance, this light, right? Whatever it is that you associate, like what words, human words that you associate that idea with, that's where we're coming from, right? We're spiritual beings having a human experience. We're coming here onto earth and experiencing the unconscious and agreeing to forget, so that we can go through a process of remembering to help with our evolution and to continue to evolve and to reach a state of whatever enlightenment we can reach within this life, so that our soul can continue to mature. And then we get to decide, right, if we're going to come back to earth and we're going to try and learn the things that we didn't learn in another lifetime, or maybe we just want to have an easy lifetime, whatever. So we have these things that these soul contracts that we make on the other side before we come into our life. We choose our parents, we choose our path, we choose what we want to do on earth. Maybe our mission is to help earth in a certain way. Maybe part of our other mission is to like learn true, forgiveness. True forgiveness. So in this topic, it's that we come from that one consciousness. We're all the same. We are one collective consciousness. And then we come here and we're experiencing the unconscious. We're experiencing this part of the experience on earth. So when somebody does something to you, someone cheats on you, somebody lies to you, somebody steals from you, they are not actually doing those things. They are you. They are the same thing as you. We are all one. We have our unique essence, but we are all one. And so what's doing that to you is the unconscious. It's the patterns here on earth. It's really actually designed to help you. You are bringing those things out of those people and those experiences so that you can deeper your experience and evolve in the ways that you're meant to evolve. I know horrible things happen to people. I know suffering. I've been through suffering too. I'm very well aware that it's happening, and it feels so real when you're in it, but there's a way through, and we have our free will, and we get to choose. We get to remember, and we get to choose. When we bring our soul and our mind into alignment and we choose that from that place, we can have whatever we want within the quantum field, within the infinite possibilities. So when I say remember who you are, that means remember your soul. And when you remember your soul, or you choose what your soul wants, then you're going to be moving towards a life of true fulfillment, because nothing will fulfill you if it's not in alignment with what your soul wants, with your soul's purpose, with your soul's actual desires on earth, you know? And so when we're looking at it from that perspective and we're saying, I choose to remember who I am, that means you remember who everybody is. That means you remember that the things that have happened to you are not because of other people. It is because it is helping your evolution. And so you're free from the whole part of that resentment when you realize that it was really not even that person, that soul. It was the unconscious. And it was in a way designed to control you, but also to set you free, right? It's so confusing sometimes. But the blocks that we have, the hardships that we have, they are our key to freedom, our key to getting what we want. We have to move through them. And how do we move through them? We remember the truth of who we are, and we see the truth of that situation and that person, that memory, all of that. And we can remember then, oh, I am infinite abundance. I am unconditional love, and so are they. And if they are that, if we are all this one beautiful expression of God, of the I am, then thank you to that soul for playing this bad role, this negative role, this service to self role, so that I could deeper find my service to others, my soul purpose, my reason for being here, my way to create a life that I love, right? And so it's not just about sitting there and saying, I forgive, I forgive, I forgive, I forgive, I forgive. It's remembering the truth of who we all are and looking at it from that perspective, you know, and it will always happen, maybe not always, but it will happen, but to lesser and lesser and lesser degrees as we continue to remember who we are and remember that we have our free will, and that we get to choose what we want in this life, and that when we get our soul and our mind into alignment and we choose from that place, we will move to that timeline. That's how it works. You're going to move to that timeline, but if you continue to fall back into the unconscious, into the belief that people are doing things to you, that you are held back by these circumstances, you know, maybe it's like financial debt and like that feeling, you're choosing a life of abundance and a career that fulfills you, and it really feels so good. It's the thing that you've always wanted, but you keep experiencing these things of like financial debt and like, you know, all that, and then you're like, it's all my parents' fault for teaching me these like lack mindsets, these scarcity mindsets. But no, just remembering that that is not real. That is not real. Those are the balancing forces trying to keep you within this way of being unconscious, within the control of whatever this is here on earth, right? But when you experience that, when you see people saying things, or when you remember the things that you don't prefer it because it's not the truth of who you are. And then you can find that that is the only separation you should have. You don't want to fall into the belief that you are separate from the truth of who you are. You are never separate from the truth of who you are. You are never separate from that source energy, from the God that we all are. We are all part of that. And part of our experience here on earth is to remember that we are not separate from that. It's the exact opposite. We are separate from the unconscious, but we are experiencing the unconscious, and we get to continue to practice to experience it, but remember, and experience it and remember and choose, and remember and choose. And so then we get to move further and further away from the experiences that were causing resentment, and we get to be free from all the resentment that we're storing within our body, because we're starting to see the truth. We're starting to see the truth. And that person, whatever that person did to you, whatever that situation did to you in your life, you know, it's not happening right now. It happened then, but it wasn't the truth of who they are. And so we can move through when we remember that. And then when we use our free will, we can choose, and we can continue to move forward and out of those experiences, out of those timelines, out of those patterns, out of the continuous hamster wheel of recreating in big, obvious, and small things. People so often are commenting on here, not so often, but a little bit, like, wow, you really find meaning in like small things. But that's because it's all the same. We have our patterns, and we can choose to wait until something's big and blowing up in our face, or we can just continue to remember the big things that happened back then. But if you look at the smaller things, you can see the same message, right? Or you can wait until it blows up in your face. But everything is a spiritual experience. Everything is our soul remembering the truth of who we are. And we all have these certain patterns that are continuing to keep us in the timeline. And so our process of evolution is, again, remembering the truth of who we are and choosing from a place of alignment with our soul. And that is how I have learned how to forgive and to move through resentment and to really clear so much within my physical being, my emotional being, my mental being, and to just have this process of life where I feel like I'm dancing with it. I feel like I'm dancing with it, and these incredible synchronicities are happening. These things are falling into place, things that I've always wanted but have denied myself because I was believing in these old balancing forces, these pendulums that the Transurfing talks about, the pendulums, but all because of this resentment. It all is lingering from the initial person or experience that caused so much resentment or trauma or whatever it was. But we can move through it by remembering. So I hope that this message resonated, landed with some of you. I want it to land with all of you, but whatever you are feeling in this moment, I'm sure that it is for the highest good, for your highest good. So please let me know what you experienced in the comments below if you feel called to do so. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you are new here. I'm posting videos every single day since New Year's Eve-ish. And I'm super, super happy to be here. Thank you for your donations. That has been so, so incredible, so generous. Thank you for all the love that you've been giving this channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.